we just need more black people to show up and start standing up for their rights. I never seen Black Long Beach so soft.
Welcome to the Jackie Ray Show.
Welcome back to the Jackie Ray Show. I'm, of course, your host, Jackie Ray. I have guests in person. You guys have been seeing some Zoom and all those kinds of interviews, but now people are in person. You guys will probably remember this specific topic. It was actually the first news story I covered after we transitioned from the Long Beach Post. And it was a story that I've been working on for a long time with the Long Beach Post. That's a whole nother story and them not wanting me to get that out. But everything happens for a reason. So I have Anthony Holmes here today. You remember him. He was trying to start the Anthony Holmes Act, but he since changed the name of that because of some of the discrimination he's experienced working for the city of Long Beach. And his attorney, Christian Petronelli, attorney at law here in Long Beach, a name that you should get to know, especially if you need him or if you're going through anything. So welcome you both to the show. It's good to have you. Good to see you guys both. I feel like I know you both so well. Anthony, I see him all the time. But let's just go back because it was a year ago, September 19th, that story actually came out. But you and I met long before that. So I'm just going to recap kind of some things that happened. So Anthony and I met, unfortunately, it was when young little Eric Brown was murdered. And we were doing a safe passage and Anthony came up and told me his story. And that's when we really started working because he had been at that time with the city and county of Long Beach in the refuse department for 10 years. And he really wanted people to know about how Black people who work in that department were being overlooked for promotions. So we started that. And then he and I jumped on a call with about 12 other people who had similar experiences, but did not want to go on the record about it because they thought it would make things worse. And since then, he's been very vocal. If you've been watching city council meetings, you've seen him at least a time or two. So where are we now? Tell me where you are now. Some of the things that have developed. I know back then, the city, specifically Tom Modica, I spoke to him when we originally did the story, and I asked him about the investigation. He did, in fact, say that they had contracted an organization to look into this, and they found that your complaints about discrimination were unsubstantiated. So what has happened since that moment in time?
Since that moment in time, my life been a roller coaster ride. Of course, I can't talk about certain things, but they've been coming at me left and right. I'm still fighting, still standing, still fighting for every Black employee in the city of Long Beach and residents in the city of Long Beach that's Black. We just need more Black people to show up and start standing up for their rights. I never seen Black Long Beach so soft ever in my life. But they just been coming at me, trying to put reprimands on me that's unlawful. I'm doing grievance on everybody that's involved that's coming at me. So that's where we stand right now.
So you do feel like you've been retaliated against since that time?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so have you filed more grievances about the retaliation?
I filed grievance. I went back to the EEO, filed multiple complaints, but the EEO department is the same as when Ramon Garcia was there. Nothing changed.
Mm-hmm. So do you expect this as an attorney as soon as someone, because that was the fear when we were on the call with all the other people, they said that they didn't want to go on record because they thought they would be retaliated against. And I remember one man specifically, he was like, I got kids. I can't afford to maybe lose my job or maybe be demoted in some way. Is that typical? Is that a realistic fear for people to expect some sort of retaliation?
I mean, they shouldn't expect it because it's illegal,
right?
But it definitely happens.
Mm-hmm.
I think that retaliation, I mean, most of the cases I have, almost all of them have some sort of a retaliation element because you have this, this person who goes to human resources or in the city's, case to the EEO, and, you're asking for help, essentially saying, I feel like I'm being treated differently. I feel like I'm being discriminated against or harassed. And the law is that they're not supposed to retaliate. They're prohibited from retaliating. But, we have laws for a reason, right? It's because the law recognizes that if left to their own devices, employers will retaliate. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's why we have discrimination laws, because if left to their own devices, employers would discriminate. Right. I think it's when somebody is raising an issue that people don't want to address or or they have maybe things to hide. Yeah, I mean, I think that puts a target on their back a lot of the time. And in Anthony's case, I think he, there's been, I think, multiple, incidents of retaliation after he complained, and then there's subsequent complaints. And retaliation is a thing where it's easy if the retaliatory act is you're fired, right? But when the retaliation comes in, smaller microaggressions, then it happens over a longer period of time. So I think that's what right now what Anthony's been dealing with.
So the Equal Opportunity Commission, that's the EEOC, right?
Yes.
Is that, so for people who have regular jobs, is that like their version of HR?
No, so the EEOC is the federal agency that deals with discrimination complaints.
Okay.
But the city of Long Beach has an EEO, an EEO officer. Mm-hmm. And that officer is the one that does investigations. It's like an HR role, and they do investigations into complaints, discrimination, retaliation, that sort of thing.
Because for everybody who's been following me for a long time, I tell everybody HR is not your friend. HR is there to protect the company. So is that this essentially the same thing, the same purpose of the EEO for Long Beach?
Well, I guess it depends who you ask.
Right.
I think human resources in a ideal world is not, doesn't have an agenda, right? Mm-hmm. They're out to protect employees that need protection, and that their function is to ensure that the human element of the operations is functioning the way it's supposed to, and that nothing unlawful is happening. But I think that HR in reality, a lot of the times, is just there to protect the company, right, to back them up. I mean, I don't know how many investigations I've seen where somebody goes to HR or goes to the EEO and they're like, we're going to investigate. And then it comes back and it's like, you didn't talk to hardly any of the witnesses. You didn't look at any of the documents. Sometimes you talk to nobody. You just reviewed some notes and then come back and say it's unsubstantiated. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, because if they find that it is substantiated, right, that you were discriminated against, you were harassed, you were retaliated against, then, it's in black and white now. Right. And so, of course, you're going to go hire an attorney, mm-hmm. When if you hire an attorney and there's that finding, whether or not it comes in evidence is a question down the road. But it's certainly, if that's in black and white, most people are going to go to a lawyer, and doesn't benefit the company. Mm-hmm.
That was my question for Tom Modica when he said, we found that your initial claims were unsubstantiated. I says, okay, great. So what's the company that did the investigation? He didn't want to tell me that. I said, well, how did they conduct their investigation? He didn't tell me that. So then we went back and I asked Anthony and the other 12 people on that call if they were questioned. They all said no. So then it becomes for me, how did you determine that this is unsubstantiated when the people who are complaining weren't even asked about what happens to them?
Yeah, no, it's not unusual. I mean, whenever I depose someone in HR who's done an investigation, I always ask them, like, so what a complete investigation is, right? I mean, a complete investigation is looking at all the relevant information, talking to all the witnesses, because you want all the evidence, right? And then from there, you make your decision. And when they don't talk to all the witnesses, or when they don't talk to the witnesses that are potentially adverse to the conclusion that they want to reach, then it's a biased investigation, right? I mean, it's one that's undertaken with an agenda, and the agenda is to not substantiate it.
Right. And that's always, so it's a legitimate fear that I understand that people are having. Has anything changed? Did you get a promotion? Did anybody that was on that call that day get a promotion? Has anything changed in that aspect?
Well, you know how they say promotion. So if you're RO1, RO2, RO3, so they say when you can become an RO4, that's a promotion, but it's the same. It's the same category. From RO1, RO2, RO3, same job title. A promotion is when you become an RF5, which is a field investigator, or you become a supervisor. Mm-hmm. But the language they got written inside the contract that the city did, and I guess the union, they consider a RO4 a promotion, but it's not.
It's just a number category.
It's just a number category.
Does it come with any sort of pay increase?
The RO4.
The RO4 does.
I think you make $1 or some change.
Oh,
more.
So that's nothing.
It's nothing. You're doing the same job that the RO1, the RO2, and the RO3 is doing. So a lot of people in that department, they don't read the contract, so they don't really know. They don't pay attention. They not woke, as you can say.
Right.
But when you pay attention to stuff, you'll see like this is the same position. So why is the RO2s getting paid more than the RO1s, or some RO1s was getting paid more than RO2s, and some RO2s was getting paid more than RO3s? You get what I'm saying?
So is that part, could that potentially be part of the lawsuit as well? Because shouldn't there be some consistency as to how people are paid?
Well, I mean, I don't want to comment too much on
That's
the,
fair.
on the
That's
facts
fair.
of the law.
My bad.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, there's equal pay, rules in California, with respect to gender, with respect to race. You can't discriminate in the way that you're paying, people. And so if if evidence comes out about discrepancies in pay, especially if it's somebody who is up for a pay increase, and maybe that pay increase isn't what they expected, and it's shortly after they complained about discrimination, that in itself can be retaliation. It can also just be discrimination if you find out you didn't complain, but you find out from coworkers that you're paid down here and they're paid up here. So it definitely it could factor in for sure.
Just for you personally, on your day-to-day life, how has this process been for you? How has it impacted your life?
I have my days, depressed, anxiety. Sometimes I wake up and want to crash out, but I think about my son and my daughter. I think that's the only thing that's saving me for really going there sometimes. So if it wasn't for them and I don't see the vision of them in my mind, I probably would have crashed out on everybody at the city already. Some of my co-workers that was on that call with you, like I was telling you last time, how they would tell some of the new guys that came in, oh, we have to fall back from Anthony Holmes because we didn't know his agenda. But like I said, my thing to them, my message to them dudes, how could you fall back when you was never in line? And recently I put something up on the internet and they went around telling like this one particular supervisor that I'm cool with, yeah, I agree with Anthony. He ain't lying about what's going on with Mexicans and blacks, but they not gonna go share it, tag it and speak publicly about it like I'll do it, So I was just telling that supervisor, I don't respect them. I mean, I grew up with them. I have love for them, but I don't respect cowards. And that's pretty much it. It's two people that I fight for the most in that department. Well, the only two people that I fight for. That's Kenny Williams and Elmo Bradford. And Kyle Sills, if he was still there, if he wasn't forced out.
Kyle did speak up. He was one of the 12. He was the only one that spoke up.
The only black man in that department that spoke up. Everybody else, they sit and run in the locker room, run around the yard talking and whispering, but don't stand for nothing. So things won't change if they keep doing that.
One of the comments that I received on the first story, which I'm gonna put a link to that if you guys want to go, you should go back and check that out because it's a great story. And when it came out, one of the first questions I received was, well, isn't the refuse department predominantly like Latino and Hispanic? How it can't be discrimination? And I don't think I personally realized that a lot of people just kind of see discrimination as happening from white people to minorities. I don't think that they understand that it can happen from men to women, woman to men, minority to minority. So I was kind of surprised to see that the conception of what people thought discrimination was. Do you experience that at all?
Well, no, I mean, I do think that most people think of it in a traditional sense, right? That like, it's white individuals discriminating against non-white individuals, but it does happen I've seen it in all sorts of races and colors against different other groups. So it happened. I have cases where there's discrimination in departments against a white individual when the supervisor is Korean or Hispanic or whatever the case may be. So it definitely, it happens. And so that's the thing, is discrimination based on race is unlawful no matter who the impacted party is. If the reason for the difference in treatment is race or nationality, then it's unlawful.
Your case prompted me to go through and look back on some of the discrimination cases, which surprising. I don't want to say surprisingly at this point, because now it doesn't surprise me. But when I originally started looking into this, there have been a lot of discrimination cases that have occurred in the city of Long Beach. And there was one specific name, which I'm not going to say, but I think the three of us know what that name is, that appeared in almost every single case. I found that alarming because I feel like that individual should have been, that is a problem that could have easily been addressed if you just address what's going on with that individual. Are you surprised that, especially since you do so many of these cases in Long Beach, are you surprised that you see the same names in cases over and over and over again?
I mean, I can't say that I'm surprised.
Okay.
Because I think, public employment is a little bit different than private. I think when people come in they're in a careered, position with the city, they're a full-time permanent employee, then, it becomes difficult, I think, even if they wanted to get rid of certain people who are in certain positions. But I mean, seeing the same names over and over again, it's definitely not uncommon. I mean, I see it a lot, and I think, even somebody like Ramon Garcia was coming up all the time because he was the one who was doing all the investigations. I mean, it was like every case, so it definitely, it happens. And, with the city, it's, it depends if people move around, to different departments. If somebody's a problem here, you can move them, somewhere else. But
let them be a problem over
doesn't
there.
mean, it doesn't mean they're not going to be a problem.
Right. Are you surprised that you get so many cases in? Because how many counties do you work?
I mean,
in?
I do it whole state of California. So
okay.
We do some. I mean, most of our cases are Los Angeles. Right. We do some Orange County, some San Diego, some up north. But most of our cases, I'd probably say 70% or so are LA or Orange County.
Okay. So this might be a silly question. So cases in Long Beach, are they tried in Long Beach or in LA County?
Well,
Los Angeles County Court?
I mean, theoretically, you could file it in Long Beach, but pretty much all employment cases that are filed in Los Angeles County get sent to downtown Stanley Mosque. Okay. So downtown LA.
So
that's where you want to be.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Why?
It's got I mean, for plaintiffs, it's got the best jury pool. Oh, probably in the country.
That makes sense. Because it's LA County and everyone's going to the same place, does it make it a very long process to get in front of a jury?
Yes. Especially because the courts got really, really backed up with COVID. I mean, because nothing was getting tried and cases were still being filed. And LA has always been a place that's hard to get to trial. I mean, because you go and you're set for trial and there's 4 other cases set for trial that day and the judge tells you to come back in 2 weeks. And you have all your witnesses and everything ready. You got to go home and pack it all up and bring it back. But right now, cases are getting set for trial about 2 to 2.5 years after filing.
Now, when you first started the very first grievance where you were like, okay, enough is enough, I'm going to address this, were you hopeful that it would be something that would be resolved in-house, or did you think that eventually you would have to get an attorney?
Well, the grievance this is my first grievance that I've done. Everything else was just complaints to the department, then doing the chain of commands. And then when I see they weren't doing nothing, then I went to the EO downtown in the city hall. So I didn't know what I was getting into. I was like, let me, go to the city hall now to see if they're going to take care of this problem. So when I filed my complaint and me and other guys are waiting, like, we didn't get no response back. It's about to be 2 years. And called downtown to talk to Ramon Garcia. And he's, oh yeah, we're working on it right now. You should have something in the mail in a week. I'm like, why it take so long? He's like, oh, we just, some excuse that he gave me. Then I get a letter. They hired a private investigator, eyewitness. You never talked to me. You never done none of this. And the other guys that filed cases, you never talked to them either on the cases that they filed. So it was just a lie. But I think I talked to Ramon Garcia at least 3 to 4 times. And he breaks down definition of what's discrimination and what's not. So
what led you to Christian? What was that road? How'd you find him?
Well, I found Christian because this person that I know, anonymous name, told me about him. Okay. And I had to do my background check. So I seen, I realized Christian was the best one for the job. I've seen his track record. He doesn't play. He's not like every other Long Beach attorney that's worked for the city. He's not going to throw you under the bus. They can't pay him off, So he's strong and he's fighting for the people, and that's all people, not just Black people, all people.
One of my favorite moments is when you went to City Hall and you had everybody come out, and then I turned around and Christian was there, and I was like, "Is that your attorney?" But it just, because I always think the same thing. I've worked in a lot of different places, and I've talked to a lot of different attorneys, and I have to say, you're the first one that I'm like, you got a good attorney. That's the first one, because you actually care. But why? Why do you care so much about your clients?
Well,
because I can tell it's a personal connection that you seem to have.
Because I think that, well, first of all, I think that employers, when they do something wrong, they should be held accountable for it.
Right.
But I think that being an attorney, right, it's about being able to tell your client's story, right? Because eventually you're going to get up in front of 12 strangers that don't know your client, and you have to be the voice, right? And so I think the more you can get to know your client, and the more you can understand, what they've gone through, you can understand the person that they are, and that puts you in a better position to be able to tell the story. Right? Like if I spend, an hour with somebody, talking at the beginning of the case, and then, a little bit here and there, chatting with them, I'm not going to really know much about them. I can get up and say what happened, right? I can say, here's what the documents show, here's the facts. But you can't, especially when it comes to telling a jury, what the emotional, impact has been. You have to be able to tell the story. And to do that, you just have to know them. And I think it's also, I think what Anthony's doing is endearing, and it's something that should be supported. And so, even if I wasn't his attorney, if he asked me to come, told me he was doing something, I'd come down and support him, because I think what he's doing is he's not just out for himself. He's trying to help other people too. And so, taking time out of my day to go down and, meet with him and, be supportive and, give him a high five when he's down there, in front of City Hall, absolutely.
Every time he's up, I see people, they take a breath, or there's an eye roll, and I know that might be offensive to some, but to me, I'm like, there's an impact, when you start walking into the room and people know that you're there for business. But for you, for him to be that vocal, is that one of those things that might give you trepidation, because the clients are usually like just kind of quiet and just waiting for you to do all the work?
Well, obviously, whenever you have a pending case,
right,
and your client's getting up on a microphone in front of City Hall, it can sometimes be a little bit stressful, but I don't think that, he's well-spoken, and his what he's saying is insightful, and it's, I think it's important. And I think the fact that he's continuing to do it, even though he feels like he's already had a target put on him, and he's already, had some retaliation occur. I think that it's important for him to do it. And if it's important for him, I'm not going to, it's not my job to stop that. And I think that, going down there and continuing to stand up, I think is important. And I think it shows the fact that he's, it's not like a one-off thing, right? It's not like, hey, I didn't get a promotion and this guy did, so I'm going to make a complaint, right? It's coming back and saying, there's a deeper problem, there's a systemic issue, and asking for that to be addressed, I think is important.
One of the things that bothered me as a journalist is, you and I had started working on this story, started putting all the pieces together for that, but then the issue of pay came up, and everybody came out to support you. Black, Latino, whatever, everybody came out to support you. And then when they received the money that they wanted, they backed off again. How did that make you feel?
I was upset about that, because when they wanted to come down to the City Hall, at that time, I wasn't speaking to nobody in the department, employees, nobody. But one particular employee came up to me, not going to say his name. He was asking me, like, how do we go speak at the City Hall? A lot of guys want to come out there. I was like, well, we're gonna meet up on this Tuesday. We're gonna get down there by 4 o'clock, and I'll show you guys how to do it. At that time, I wasn't getting, I'm not gonna say I wasn't getting along. I just didn't mess with nobody in the department. Because when I first said I was going and everybody was telling me, oh, we got your back, we're going down there with you. When that day came, I didn't get no phone call. People stayed away from me, and I just went by myself. So I didn't want to show the council and Tom Modica and all them, the city attorneys, like, I don't get along with these dudes. Because if I'd have showed that, okay, it's a disconnect. We got them, So I had to play it off like I'm cool, we all cool, it's unity and all that, but it was never like that. I can be you can be my enemy, but if we have to get a job done, I'm gonna work with you. After that, you can go back to being my enemy, and I go back being your enemy.
That's very unique. You know that, right? Like most people are like, I'm mad, I'm just mad. I don't like you, I don't like you.
Yeah, so when they did that, I was upset, and they got what they wanted. A lot of people lied when it was time to sign the contract for the 17%. We was in negotiation. I was telling them, no, don't sign it. We can get way more than that. People that wasn't even paying union dues, when the union came down there and started signing up and then voting, I'm like, what are y'all doing? They've been giving y'all 2% for the last 10, 20, 30 years. And when we was offered 7%, everybody like, this is the most we ever gonna get. Let's sign this. And I'm like, no. Then they offer us 13%. Oh, this is the most we ever gonna get. Let's sign it. Let's sign this. So I'm looking at people like, are y'all serious? Y'all was accepting 2% for 10, 20 years.
Right.
So what is 13%? Then 17% came. Okay, yeah. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. I'm like, don't sign it. You can get more.
A little more, right.
They sign it, and that's what they got now. People still getting paid, living paycheck to paycheck, can't afford to put food on their table. You can hear it all over the yard. Like, we're not making enough. It's just sad. Like, if the city told them, if y'all want to raise, y'all have to go to the bridge downtown to jump in the water, they'll do it. That's how it is in the city of Long Beach.
Do you think that's a city of Long Beach thing?
Everywhere.
I was gonna say, everywhere. Yeah, because it's getting pretty bad out here, financially for people. I did a podcast a little while ago, and I was talking about how far government has fallen away from its duty, which is to make sure that people are okay. And the consensus, and this is a mentality shift that I don't think I was aware of, but the consensus in that, it was a live podcast, was it's not the government's job to take care of people, which I found that to be a very interesting, because then what do we need government for? So I found that to be, are you finding that there is a mind shift in our society when it comes to what government responsibility is to make sure they uphold these kinds of laws, and what our responsibility is to make sure we just take care of ourselves, separate from government?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's a shift. I mean, I think that it seems that most people have a skeptical view of government, right? I mean, that are they really out for our interests, which is what they're supposed to be, right? Or are they looking out for their own individual, interests because they have their own agendas, right? So I mean, I don't think that government exists in present day.
It's supposed
to protect people,
right?
Yes, yeah.
But initially,
yeah. I mean, think about it. When somebody runs for Congress, right, and their net worth is, $200,000. And then after they've, spent a couple terms in Congress, their net worth is $50 million. It's like, okay, I mean, what are you doing? Are you really there trying to, push legislation and things that are designed to protect people? Or are you, pushing legislation that has, something for one of your donors in it so that you can get a kickback or, whatever. So, I mean, I don't think I think government, yes, ideally it should, be protecting people. That should be their main interest. But I think, people get lost. Yes. Yeah. And I think that, a lot of the government, local government, state government, federal government, I don't think that it serves the purpose it was originally designed to serve.
So that's why you wanted to pass an actual law. I know it was originally called the Anthony Holmes Act. Is it still called the Anthony Holmes Act? Okay.
That's separate from the coalition.
Okay. Yes. So where are you with that?
Still working on it. Got a lot of writers. We're almost there.
So there's the Anthony Holmes Act that you want that to be a law that's passed, but then there's the Long Beach Coalition Against Anti-Blackness.
Coalition against anti-Blackness,
Okay.
because it's not just for Long Beach. It's in
Gotcha.
every state, every city, trying to start a movement like the Civil Rights Movement, Black Panther Movement. It's going to be everywhere.
Okay.
So
And where are you with that?
I'm recruiting right now. Got a lot of people that you've seen that came down there February 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Have to get rid of some of them people because you had infiltrators on the team telling cancel your business. I mean, if I'm gonna get killed, I'll do it myself. I don't need them to speed up the process, you know. So some people you just gotta eliminate and keep them at a distance, you know. So.
I think it's great that Long Beach is actually a very large, small city, and it's very easy to figure out who's moving in what way here. But I have noticed that even as a journalist, you know, people have come to me and like, oh, you should tell this story. And it seems like a great story. But then the more I dig, like, I'm not going to dig, like it's my whole job. And then, and then, you know, the more I dig, then I realize, oh, this was brought to me as potentially a favor to make this person look good. It has nothing to do with my whole brand, which is making sure, you know, people who, specifically the Black community, but at large, people who are not heard or not seen. I'm working on a story right now about the unhoused community and how all the promises that we've made as a city seems to be, we failed the unhoused community. So my purpose in life is to make sure that I give people who are not heard a voice. And so I salivate when people bring that stuff to me, like, oh, this is a great story. And I'm like, oh, is it? And then you dig and you're like, girl, this don't got nothing to do. So it's very interesting, but you very quickly. So I love Long Beach in that. And, you know, so when you're thinking about branching out beyond that, do you think Long Beach is kind of serving as the teaching ground for you to be able to maybe spot people that don't have the best interest for the movement at heart?
Yes, I mean, I can spot a person from a mile away.
Okay.
It's like a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say I didn't have a girlfriend, right? Mm-hmm. So I meet a girl. You know how you put a person, you get to know them for 6 months.
Yeah.
It's just like when I met Petronelli. Mm-hmm. He pretty much is on the probation period. Mm-hmm. You know, so just to see how, okay, is this dude loyal? Is he trustworthy? So that's what I did to a lot of people in Long Beach, all the people that was coming up to me, like, man, we love what you're doing. A lot of people got close to me, and half of them was fake. Some people I wish I never met. Mm-hmm. That's just the truth. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, City Hall, you go down there, you get a lot of fake hugs on the outside, and you get inside the chamber, and then every Black person run from you because they don't want to be blackballed by me. I guess they consider themselves blackballed if they sitting by me or come give me a hug inside the chamber. So I done dealt with that. I done seen all type of things, man. It's crazy, but you'll hear a lot of people, Black folks, white folks, all nationalities. Oh, we love what you're doing. Keep doing it. But half of the people that send it, they not gonna fight with me. You know, so like I was saying, my fight is for the boys and girls that's coming behind me. My son, my daughter, and all the ones that's fighting now. The ones that's not fighting, I can't help y'all. So you have the field Negroes, you have the plantation Negroes, you have the bourgeois Negroes, and you have what's the last one? The career Negroes. The career Negroes is the most deadliest one, lethal. They worse than all of them because they gonna do what they can, stab you in the back, turn against you, lie, write fake statements, false statements on you, do everything they can to get above. So like with Rex, for example, he got he have a lot of bourgeois Negroes around him. Them ministers in the city of Long Beach that go around and saying, oh, we don't get involved in politics, but you do get involved in the community. At least y'all supposed to, but y'all don't even do that. Y'all don't address no problem. Half of you ministers done been and all cheated on y'all wives, been on multiple scandals. Don't get me started. I hear y'all talking. You know, when you say my name, expect for me to come for you. Right. I don't care who your family member is, who you close to. And let me double back on the bourgeois Negroes that when Rex come up with an ideal, they sit there and cheer him. Oh, yeah, that's great, Rex, that's great. But them those same ones that don't stand for nothing, that got something to say. I think Rex is a manipulator to older people. Because, you know, older people, they're not wise enough. I can see that.
Especially old Black Long Beach.
Yeah, I have not told one false story since I've been going to council. Even with the 6 black police officers that got fired for no reason, for filing claims of discrimination. You haven't stuck up for them. You told them the same thing you told me and Kyle Sills. F them in words. They didn't help me get here. I wish them police officers come back out and speak. Well, come out for the first time to speak, them ex-police officers. Well, you know, Rex, he goes around saying he don't want black people thinking he's just supposed to do for black people.
Oh, he told me that when he was running for office, he came up to me and told me he didn't want me to be a journalist that only represented for black people. And what I told him is there's nobody else representing for black people though. So then what happens? I don't mind the job, y'all. Y'all keep hollering at your girl when you need somebody to talk about black issues, because it's important that everyone has a voice. And a person of leadership, I understand what he's saying, where he doesn't want to just be about black people. But from the outside looking in, it does appear that he is going out of his way to distance himself from black issues.
Me personally, I have never asked Rex for nothing. He asked me what I wanted.
And did you tell him?
And I told him, I want all them supervisors fired. Ramon Garcia, Tom Modica, Eric Lopez. None of that happened. Oh, do you want more black supervisors? It's not about black supervisors.
It's about supervisors who care.
Yes, it's about the person that's here to do the job. I don't care if they white, Mexican, Asian. All we want to do is get treated fairly. That's it.
Right.
And they don't want to address the problem like with Ramon Garcia.
Right.
Y'all move him over there to the ports. Same position, HR director over the port. So when the black person or whoever goes file a complaint with him, he's going to do the same thing. So it's pointless. But when city employees, as myself, I mess up, if I mess up, because I never did, y'all going to try to fire me. It's like y'all put this fake, false, unlawful reprimand on me. And it's going to backfire on them at the end. And that department of ESB, which is the refuse department, need to have a community oversight committee because it's ridiculous some of the stuff that goes on in that department. It's the same as when Deco Malconian was there, Rudy Umana, and what's the other guy named Frank Ramirez. Nothing has changed at all.
Is that so for you, because you've been an attorney for so long, is that disappointing to see that? I mean, I know it's great for business, but at the same time, when you think about the condition of humanity, is it almost unnerving to see we're talking about the same thing over and over and over again, just for you personally?
Well, I mean, I guess it's not surprising, because it's, it happens repeatedly, and it is an ongoing, there's constantly, people who are being treated in ways that they shouldn't. Right. And so the fact that I've seen it repeatedly from employees in Long Beach. Yeah. I mean, I live in Long Beach, I work in Long Beach. I mean, I love Long Beach. I lived here for a long time. So it is, it is concerning. It's, it is a bit disheartening, I think, when I see, I guess, patterns and, kind of complaints being addressed the same way. And by addressed, I mean, they're addressed, right? Right. But they're not really addressed. Like the underlying, issue, if it's, if not adequately investigated, if it's not, really looked into and examined, then I think that it lends itself to repetition. It's just going to happen again and again because you're not taking the steps necessary to address them as they arise, right? If somebody comes to me and complains about discrimination or harassment or retaliation, and you don't actually look into it, all you do is rubber stamp, unsubstantiated, without really doing an adequate investigation, then you're basically saying, hey, this is okay. Right. We know this allegation's out there, but we're either going to turn a blind eye to it, or we're just going to ratify it, say it's okay. Either one, it lends itself to repetition. Yeah. So that's what I think we've seen.
So what's next for you? I know the lawsuit, we probably don't have any kind of timeline as to when that'll be done, right?
No, not right now. Yeah. I mean, probably about the same time frame, probably looking at least another year and a half.
Okay. Like so what are you going to do in the meantime? Because I follow you on social media and obviously I talk to you. It doesn't look like there's going to be a time where you're not a target. What does that mean for you as an employee in Long Beach?
Man, it's whatever, I'm Black in America. So
Right.
That's
a perfect answer right there.
it's nothing new. I just, when you keep knocking at their door downtown, what they want you to do is just go away. So they try to be quiet about things, and I can't let that happen. I done seen this happen too many times. Black folks come down there and make noise, and they just disappear. I'm not going nowhere. I want y'all to know that. Every time y'all do something, I'm gonna come down there. I'm gonna do a blog or something. I'm gonna rally up the truth, and we gonna demonstrate. So that's what I want the city council, the city attorney, the mayor, some of them council members to know about me. I will not fold. I will not bend. None of that. I'm not waving the white flag at all.
Well, I don't think there's much more to say after that. That was a perfect that was a perfect way to end it. Christian, you have anything you want to say?
No, I mean, if anybody needs to contact me, my office number is 888-855-3670. And the website is petronellilaw.com. If you have any employment issues, we're here, not going anywhere. And Petronelli is spelled Petronelli.
And don't feel like y'all got to run and get a pen and paper. It's going to be in the description. Okay. So all of that's going to be in there. You can find that in the description below. And I've talked to a lot of employment attorneys. I highly recommend Christian, because when I tell you, you can feel that he cares. I've not really seen that. For everybody else, it's just kind of like a job. So I'm quite proud to know you. I'm quite proud to say I got a guy. So I'm very proud of your relationship with Anthony as well. And I'm proud of you, because I'll be following you on social media and I'll be like, Lord, here they come again. It's a lot. But you maintain a level head, you reach out to your tribe, and I'm proud that you have a tribe. You've created a tribe of people that you can trust. That's hard to do sometimes. But that also speaks to your character of who you are. And there's people who want to stand by you and help you continue this movement. So I just need you to make sure that you keep me posted as things develop with the Anthony Holmes Act, and as things develop with the coalition, so we can make sure that people know what's going on, how they can get involved. If they do want to get involved and maybe help with the coalition here in Long Beach, what do you want them to do?
Go to my social media page, contact me. The people that know me, email me, call me, contact Jackie Ray if you guys can't get at me.
But thank you both for being on the show. This is great. I'm so excited to see. I know it's a headache. I know it's unnerving. I know you would rather not have to have these conversations, but I'm quite proud of you, and I'm quite proud of you, Christian, too. And make sure if you need him, all of his information is going to be in the description below. Same thing with Anthony's as well. I'll put all of his social media. I'm not going to put his phone number in there because I don't know y'all like that. But but I'm going to make sure I put all his social media down there. And if you want to contact me, you can do that at JackieRayTV.com. or on social media, all the same thing at Jackie Ray TV, and then I can plug you as well. But thank you for joining. Thank you both for being here. Thank you all for watching and following the Jackie Ray Show as we make a new appearance and we're changing some things up. I appreciate you for following me on this journey. And remember, life is short, so make it good. We'll see you next time.